The hype surrounding every NHL draft is always about the top prospects, the players that will be competing for the top spots in the draft, and while the early rounds are obviously very important, so are the later rounds, and today's video is going to back that up. I have made videos before on NHL draft steals, but they were more so focused on recent drafts, but today I want to go all time for this one and talk about the 10 biggest draft steals in NHL history. And one thing I should say before jumping into the video, every player I chose was drafted in the 5th round or later. I know 4th, 3rd, and even 2nd round picks are considered steals, but I wanted to focus on the later rounds for this one. And right now we are currently on the road to 30,000 subscribers, so if you guys enjoy the video and want to see more hockey content like this, make sure to go down there and click that subscribe button. But now, without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. Starting off the video with one of the players that was already spoiled from the thumbnail, and that is the Magic Man Pavel Datsyuk, who the Detroit Red Wings selected with the 171st overall pick in the 1998 NHL entry draft. And of course, me being a Red Wings fan, Datsyuk is one of my favorite players of all time, and I'm very lucky to have been able to grow up watching him play. He has some of the nastiest hands the NHL has ever seen. From shootout goals to ankle breakers, you name it, Datsyuk never had an issue finding his way onto the highlight reels. And it wasn't just his offensive game that made him such a dominant player, it was his ability to take over the game in both ends of the ice. Oftentimes, it looked like Datsyuk was a third defender out there. He won the Selke Trophy for the league's best defensive forward on 3 different occasions and only ever finished with a negative plus-minus 1 time in his career. Datsyuk is without a doubt one of the best two-way centermen of all time. He finished his NHL career with 953 games played, 314 goals, and 604 assists for 918 points. There was some buzz last summer of Datsyuk potentially returning to the NHL, but that fizzled out quickly, and I think it is safe to say his NHL career is over and he's gonna finish out his pro career in the KHL. And honestly, that's probably a good decision for him, seeing as how bad the Red Wings have been this year, but what I wouldn't give to see just one more Datsyukian Deke in a Red Wings uniform. Moving along now, we have the most recent steal in this video, and that is Benn, who was taken with the 129th overall pick in the 2007 NHL draft by the Dallas Stars. And Benn didn't come in and make an impact immediately, as he played his 2 seasons after being drafted with the Kelowna Rockets from 2007 to 2009. But when he finally broke onto the scene in the NHL, it was definitely worth the wait for Dallas, as Benn played all 82 games in his rookie season in 2009-2010, finishing the year with 22 goals and 19 assists for 41 points. But unfortunately, Benn didn't win the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year. That went to Tyler Myers, who was playing for Buffalo at the time. And as we all know, Benn has gone on to have a fantastic NHL career with Dallas, as he currently has 794 games played and 674 total points, including back-to-back years of 87 and 89 points, and winning the Art Ross Trophy in 2014-15. Benn has been one of the top players of the past decade, and it's pretty crazy to think that Dallas got him in the 5th round. For the next player, we are going back a ways to the 1982 NHL draft, when the St. Louis Blues selected Doug Gimour with the 134th overall pick. In his draft year, Gimour was playing for the Cornwall Royals of the OHL and finished the season with 119 points and also 19 points in just 5 playoff games. Those are some pretty unreal numbers, so it is a wonder why he wasn't taken until the 7th round, but scouting back then is certainly not what it is today. Gimour would go on to play for 7 different NHL teams throughout his 20-year career. What many people probably remember him most for is when he had back-to-back 100-point seasons with the Leafs in 92-93 and 93-94. Gimour finished his NHL career with 1,474 games played, 450 goals, and 964 assists for 1,414 points. Gimour would eventually have his number 93 retired by the Toronto Maple Leafs and would go on to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2011. Moving on now, sticking with the theme of the 1980s, we have Theo Fleury, who was taken with the 166th overall pick in the 1987 draft by the Calgary Flames. Fleury was a very undersized player, standing at just 5'6", but man was he ever good, and did he ever have a fantastic NHL career. He finished his career with 1,084 games played and 1,088 points, and is second on the Calgary Flames all-time points list, only behind Jerome McGinley. Theo Fleury is not currently in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but he definitely has a good case to be in there and still could be inducted in one day. Even if he doesn't, at least he had a really good career and gave us one of the most memorable sellies of all time. And in my opinion, he is among the 10 greatest NHL draft steals of all time. Moving along now, we have another current NHL player, and that is Joe Pavelski, who was selected in the 7th round with the 200 205th overall pick in 2003 by the San Jose Sharks. And even though Joe Pavelski is now a current member of the Dallas Stars, I'm sure when everybody thinks about him, they picture him in a San Jose uniform. I know I do, and I still kind of find it weird when I see him playing for Dallas. He is a guy that I honestly thought was going to be a member of the Sharks for his entire career, and looking at the season that San Jose is having right now, I think Pavelski made the right choice in leaving, and I think the Sharks are definitely missing him. As of today, Pavelski has played in 1,012 total NHL games, has 363 career goals, 417 assists for 780 total points. He's a big-time playoff performer as well, with 100 career points in 134 career playoff games. And when Pavelski's career does come to an end, I definitely think he will at least get some consideration for the Hockey Hall of Fame. He has had an amazing career, especially considering the fact that he was a 7th round pick. Moving on to the next player, we have NHL legend Brett Hull, who was selected by the Calgary Flames with the 117th overall pick in the 1984 draft. But Brett Hull didn't spend too much time with the Calgary Flames organization, as he was traded to the St. Louis Blues on March 7th of 1988, and that is really where his career took off, and I'm pretty sure most people remember Brett Hull for the time he spent with the St. Louis Blues. Brett Hull scored more than 50 goals on 5 different occasions for the St. Louis Blues, including an 86-goal season in 1990-91 where he won the Hart Trophy. Unfortunately, he was never able to win a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues, but he did end up winning one later on in his career with the Detroit Red Wings. He finished his NHL career with 1,269 games played, 741 goals, 650 assists for 1,391 total points. He had an amazing career and was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2009. Next up, we have one of the greatest players of all time to never win a Stanley Cup, and that is Henrik Lundqvist, who was selected in the 7th round, 205th overall in the 2000 NHL draft by the New York Rangers. Throughout his NHL career, Henrik Lundqvist has been an absolute workhorse. The least amount of games he's played in a single season, not including this year, was 43 games, and that came in the lockout-shortened 2012-13 season. Lundqvist so far has played a total of 882 career games, has a record of 458 wins, which puts him 5th on the NHL's all-time wins list, 308 losses, and 96 ties or overtime losses, and he has a career .918 save percentage and 2.43 goals against. Lundqvist also won the Vezina Trophy in 2011-2012, where he played 62 games and had a 39-18-5 record with a .929 save percentage. I think it is safe to say, whether he wins a Stanley Cup or not, there will be a spot for him in the Hockey Hall of Fame when he decides to hang up the skates. Next up, we have my favorite NHL player of all time, and that is Henrikzetterberg, who was selected in the 7th round of the 1999 NHL Draft, 210th overall by the Detroit Red Wings. And like I mentioned with Pavel Datsyuk, I was super lucky to be able to grow up watching him and Datsyuk and Lidstrom and all those guys play together on the Detroit Red Wings and watch them be consistently a very good team. That's why I'm honestly not too concerned about the current rebuild and how bad the team actually is, because us Red Wings fans were very lucky and blessed with a very good NHL team for a very long time. Zetterberg was a member of the Red Wings from the 2002-03 season all the way up until the 2017-18 season, where he was forced to retire a little bit prematurely due to his back problem. He definitely had a fantastic NHL career that was highlighted by him scoring 27 points in 22 playoff games when the Detroit Red Wings won the 2008 Stanley Cup. Zetterberg won the Conn Smythe Trophy for playoffs MVP during that cup run as well. Zetterberg finished his career with 1,082 games played and 960 total points. I really wish we were able to see him hit the 1,000 point mark, but like I said, he had to retire a little bit prematurely, and I might be a little bit biased when saying this, but I think Zetterberg definitely deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame one day. Moving on now, jumping back to the 1980s, we have Luc Robitaille, who was drafted in the 9th round, 171st overall by the Los Angeles Kings in the 1984 NHL draft. And as soon as Robitaille made the NHL, he had an immediate impact. His rookie season came in the 1986-87 season that saw him put up 84 points in 79 games and won the Calder Trophy for the NHL's Rookie of the Year. And throughout the 80s and into the early 90s, as a member of the LA Kings, Luc Robitaille was one of the best players in the NHL. He cracked the 100 point mark on 4 different occasions. His career high was 125 points that came in 1992-93. Robitaille actually had 3 different stints with the Los Angeles Kings. After the first stint, he played for the Pittsburgh Penguins for a year and then 2 years with the Rangers before going back to LA to play there for 5 more seasons before playing for the Red Wings for 2 seasons and then finishing out his NHL career with the Los Angeles Kings. Robitaille won a Stanley Cup as a member of the 2002 Detroit Red Wings and is yet another player featured in this video that was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And now to finish out the video, we have the Dominator Dominik Hasek, who was selected in the 10th round, 199th overall in 1983 by the Chicago Blackhawks. And I think if I had to pick one player from this video who I think is the greatest draft steal of all time, I would probably go with Dominik Hasek. He was drafted by the Blackhawks, but I'm sure many people remember him for the time he spent with the Buffalo Sabres, because that is really where he had the best years of his NHL career. Dominik Hasek won the Vezina Trophy for the league's best goaltender on 6 different occasions. He also won the William M. Jennings 3 times and was a 2-time Hart Trophy winner for league's MVP, and as a goaltender, that is very, very impressive. Dominik Hasek went on to win his first Stanley Cup in 2002 with the Detroit Red Wings, his first year with the team, where he played 65 regular season games and 23 playoff games. And yet again, Hasek is another player featured in this video that was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So that is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to let me know down in the comment section below if you guys want to see more all-time videos like this, and also if you guys think I missed anyone, make sure to let me know. And with all that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to go down there and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for some more NHL content, and I will see you guys in the next video.